What was her sentence? Did you find out what her sentence was?
Yes, I actually mentioned that a moment ago. I'm sorry you didn't hear me.
I didn't hear it.
Yeah, sorry. She received 20 years in prison, and the reason why it was only 20 years is because she wasn't the hitman, and she turned the hitman in by, letting the authorities know that he threatened to kill her, and
And
also
what was the sentence of the hitman?
that I never found out because remember in the reports the only reports that were even available online, the dockets that I was reading from the lawyers, they only referred to him. Well, basically, they just protected his name. They never said his name. He was just the petitioner, so they never said his name.
Yeah,
And
but I get
so,
you're not saying the person's name, but they could still tell you like how much time that person got. That's not revealing
yeah,
the
yeah,
person's name or
no,
anything.
no, they actually did not. This is what I'm saying. Some of these stories are not talked about enough. There wasn't any other information on to be more specific on this case about that person because for some reason they put all the weight on Antoinette. And as far as the discussion of the case, I'm not saying of the outcome or even the plan and all of that. They didn't discuss that in the docket that I had at all, and I don't have anything else. I've looked and I've looked and I've looked. That's why I said in certain areas in this country, I believe that certain cultures of people or groups of people that live in particular areas are just forgotten because it's like nobody cares. There is no, you can, about what, probably maybe 80% of our cases, we might be able to just do our, just twiddle Google a little bit with our fingers and boom, something else will come up that I can read, I can cross reference. But because this happened in Detroit, as a matter of fact, when I looked on, at one point I was on YouTube just looking at murder cases on there. They only had 9 that popped up on YouTube. Period, just 9. Normally, I mean, they have probably 9 murders since we even this show has been broadcasted. Do you get my point? It's because, and I could be wrong, but politically, I think it's because it's Detroit, the city that time forgot, and the people are just, it's like, hey, just more ethnic people or people of a certain culture that are killing each other. Why even add that onto the weight of what we have to, to go investigate? I don't know, but that's what it feels like to me. Because why is there nothing else about this? I probably got
Yeah.
more information from my stepdad because he knew them so well. But when I was able to cross reference what he said, thank God, then it was all true. But my point is, I'm saying, what about that's why I'm with our show, I still think it's important that we're able to tell these stories. Because otherwise it's like nobody remembers these people's lives sometimes. You
Right,
know?
right. I
Yeah.
understand. Yeah.
Yeah. So unfortunately, petitioner doesn't have any other information or a name. That's crazy. But yeah, we know that she did get 20 years. In fact, there was a small report that said that on appeal she may have already got out of prison anyway. She may not even be still
Wow.
in prison at this point because it's closer to 21 years now. And so I mean, if you're a very humble person, you might be able to actually get on a good behavior. And the reason I'm saying that is because she was dumb, but she might have been more on the quiet side and just didn't know how to control her emotions when she made these choices. So if you're a much more humble or quiet person in prison, you might be able to fool them long enough to get out a little bit, faster. You know what I mean? With on
Mm,
appeal or
I
something.
mean,
They said
I
she did appeal it though.
I hear that, but I don't think I don't know. For certain people, I don't think good behavior should be a reason for you to get out early. Like if you murder your mom, I mean, like you definitely hired somebody to murder your mom. Who cares about your good behavior at this point in
Mhm,
time? You know what
mhm.
I'm saying?
It
Like,
was a conscious
but if you
decision.
were,
It was a plan. You had a plan. What's the
yeah, but like
plan?
if you were caught with like an ounce of weed or something and they put you in jail for that, then yeah, good behavior. Okay, bye. It's not
Mhm.
like you're a
Not
hardened
a threat
criminal
to
or anything like that.
society, right?
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't, as usual, I don't like how this one ended. We need to find one with happy endings, like they got life in prison or executed or something. I
Yeah,
I
that's
don't like
real
how this
happy.
one
Don't
ended.
drop the soap for 150 years. So to all of our listeners, you guys are used to Kai by now. Those of you new to this particular show, those that followed No Conduct, you know Kai. So her thing is she's just not going to be happy with these cases because they're just so ridiculous the way that they end. They make
Yeah,
no
like she got
sense.
20
They make
years,
no
she's out
sense.
already. She just, she
Mhm.
killed her mom. She hired somebody to kill her mom. She sang like a bird. She tried to get a bunch of people in on it, and then, you don't even get a spanking. You just got a slap on your wrist, like, bad girl, don't do that again. And then that's it. Like, she's out. Like, I don't get it. I mean, her
Maybe
mom
the prison was full.
still let out lesser crimes than hers. Like,
Right.
I understand her mom was, not the best mom, period. Like,
Mhm.
her mom was wow, just
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah,
But
that's
she didn't
exactly
deserve to
how my
be.
stepdad described her. He said, "Char, she was worldly to say the least." He goes, "That's the one way he described her was worldly." So that told me a lot. I mean, you can be classy in your own way and sophisticated in your own way, but who are you really? And this tells me you're a worldly person. You're about attention from a younger guy, attention from your daughter's husband, for crying out loud. You want money. You're driven by money, even if it's not a lot. On top of all the money that you do have, you're driven by sex and physical assurance. You know that you're attractive or that you're needed or wanted. I mean, this is worldly. People that have that nature, that those are where their priorities are. You know how people say get your priorities straight, your priorities in order. So yeah,
Yeah,
that because it'll get you killed. It'll get you killed if you don't get your priorities in order. So think of it like that, America.
that's freaking insane.
Yeah,
Anyways,
that's what we
that
have
was a
to
crazy story and a
say.
horrible, horrible ending.
Ending.
I didn't like it at all. And I couldn't keep up with everybody killing everybody for the reasons they were killing. What happened to the brother anyway? Did I miss that?
No, no. Remember, he's in prison for a really long time for killing her husband.
Okay, so he stayed in prison, but she's probably out already. How does
Yeah,
this make
yeah,
sense?
yeah. But don't forget, he was the trigger man for her husband. He shot her husband in the head in her
I
home.
mean, but
So that's different. That's not
okay, so
the same.
just because she didn't hold the gun, she is just as guilty as killing her mom as her brother is for killing the husband. Like,
No, that's not
okay,
how it goes in these cases, Kai. Not at all. The actual trigger man is the one that always gets more time. She's the conspire. That's all what she did. She conspired to have it done, and she hired the man. I mean, I've watched a lot of cases like this, and almost never do they get equal time as the person that physically pulled the trigger. You know why? Because they could have made a different decision, and they were motivated by money and greed. Now, Kai, let's just let our listeners know if any of you out there, feel as if you have a case that may fit the profile of our show. We'll take a look at it. We will consider it, but it has to follow certain guidelines, and it's pretty simple. It has to contain love at some point, whether the person's deceased at the time of the murder, whether the person was, they were in love before and then they were shot and killed, or it has to be love and that resulted in murder. So that's pretty much where our guidelines are. But if you have other case, I just met someone today that just said, "Oh, I'd love to have my case on your show." The lady tells me that her home health care worker murdered her father who was in hospice. Imagine a home health care worker that was assigned to her father's as a client for that day. Just for that day, she murdered him and stayed at the house overnight because there was a snowstorm and it was late. And his daughter's like, "Oh, you can just stay at our house." She killed the father, but no one knew this. She got no time at all. But my point is, it didn't fit within the parameters of our mission statement. But if you guys have anything that you want to share with us, Kai, can you let our listeners know where they can include that information so that we can give it consideration along with any other shout outs and accolades and plugins and all of that, and how they can follow us? I'll let you take it from there.
yeah, definitely. If you want us to consider your story, if you have any stories that you know of that you've heard of and you want to hear more of it, or you want to hear our rendition of it, then you can definitely email us at noconductradio@gmail.com. And if you liked this crazy episode, even though it went over my head and I didn't like the ending and yada yada yada. But if you like this crazy episode and our rendition of it, being that you really didn't find it out there at all, I think I'm gonna look it up after the show. I'm gonna look
I hope
more.
so. I hope you can find, because I've
Yeah,
really tried for about a week now, And I'm just really frustrated because I don't like the fact that there wasn't more coverage. Honestly, I think it's a conspiracy theory, a political and racist conspiracy theory. That's just my opinion, honestly.
I don't know. I have to look. Maybe I'll look this up more after the show. But anyway, if you
Okay.
liked our telling of this story, not that if you like the story, but our telling of this story, then go ahead and give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. So help build up our show. So give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. You can just say, I don't know, you didn't like that Ky couldn't follow the story, or that you hate that she's out already and she should have rotted under the jail cell and just stayed there but whatever,
Right.
you can say whatever you want on Apple Podcasts. Give us 5 stars. Follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/relationship crime. Follow us on Instagram at Love and Murder Podcast. And don't forget, if you want to be a producer and hear your name at the end of the show and or get bonus episodes, then subscribe to us on patreon.com/love and murder and become a subscriber of $5 and above. But if you just want to hear more of our stories and you don't want to really spend $5 or above on it, then you could go ahead and donate whatever you like. And I've actually just made a donation button for PayPal for those of you who don't want to do it through Patreon. So we'll have that on our website, which our website is just our show backwards, which is
Right. And love.
www.murderandlove.com. So that's it for our crazy episode today. Thank you for joining us, and we will see what the world is like tomorrow. Oh my God, I don't know if I'm looking forward to it. But
Well,
as I always say, until next time, y'all, all love
all
and
love
no
and no
murder.
murder. Goodbye.